Is there a single series of games that you cannot bring yourself to play? If so, why? You mentioned Gears of War. I did play that recently, and I had the same reaction to it that you did. I just found it really boring. Really, really dull. I was a bit put out by that, actually. So yeah, Gears of War, definitely. It just bores the tits off me, quite frankly. Others, the 3D Sonic the Hedgehog games. I mean, I used to love the Sonic games when I was young, the 2D ones, the side-scrolling ones, but unlike Mario, Sonic has never done it. It's never made the transition successfully into 3D. And the 3D Sonic games are shockingly bad. Just awful in every conceivable way. Sega can't program a 3D camera to save their lives. Not only that, but the stories and the atrocious voice acting. The voice acting is so bad it makes you want to turn the console off or destroy it when you hear it. So yeah, that's one series of games I will not play. What's it? Oh, this is a good one. What is your fondest memory of your gaming life? That's interesting. I don't know. There are lots of different things. I suppose being genuinely scared for the first time was an excellent thing. And the first game that genuinely scared me was Darkseid on the Amiga. I'm sure there must be somebody out there who remembers Darkseid. Darkseid was a point-and-click adventure, dead genre of games now, which was based on the art of H.R. Giger. Almost every aspect of it was designed or was made paid reference to H.R. Giger's art, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. Another one that really frightened me was Clock Tower. If anyone remembers that, that was and it still is a hideously frightening game. Clock Tower is very frightening. Other fond memories. Just coming to particular climactic events in game narratives, I think certain parts of the Final Fantasy games and of Resident Evil, you know, any game that has a narrative and then when there's a moment of revelation. For example, I remember when it's revealed that Raziel in Soul Reaver is a Sarafan, or was a Sarafan warrior when he was still alive. That was a brilliant moment, I thought. When you find out that Cloud's memories of Nibelheim in Final Fantasy VII are actually false, he's constructed them out of experiences that he's experienced by proxy through Zack. That's an interesting. I loved that twist. That's just not something you will find in the vast majority of narratives where they upturn the whole nature of the game's protagonist, the hero, if you like. Everything you thought you knew about the guy is transformed and twisted round. I love that. Was an awesome moment. Defeating John Irenicus in Baldur's Gate. Oh, he's a son of a bitch. John Irenicus is one of my favourite bad guys, if you like, in video game history. Ably played by the wonderful David Warner, by the way. John Irenicus, what a bastard. But again, a villain whom you can perfectly understand. You understand why he has become the way he is. Number 9. If you play any console with an online community, what do you find they're generally like? Is their behaviour a constant across the whole community, or do you find it varies depending on what game you're playing? I haven't played with an online community for years. The last online community I used to play with was in Team Fortress Classic, and back then there were good elements and there were bad elements. The bad elements were the whingers and the people who would complain about snipers camping. I mean, that's what snipers do. There's no other way they can play the game other than to camp. That sort of thing. I actually bowed out because of the way the online community was going. The rampant sexism and homophobia and whatnot that was going on there was pissing me off to no end. So I just thought, forget it, I'll play on my own. Thank you very much. Number 10. What do you think of the indie game genre as a whole? Are there any indie games that you have played that you have particularly enjoyed? Do you think it's possible for an indie game to surpass a mainstream title in terms of quality and enjoyment? The indie game market has been really interesting of late. I mean, it died off with the advent of home consoles when computer games became a mainstream medium, if you like. Before then, when there were home systems such as the Sinclair Spectrum and the Commodore Amiga and the Amstrad, there was a huge indie game market, absolutely huge. In fact, a lot of the companies that are now fucking enormous, companies like EA, Electronic Arts, they actually started out as tiny little home companies. You know, effectively two people working out of a bedroom producing computer games when the Amiga was young. I remember actually having a lot of the Electronic Arts games when Electronic Arts was exactly that, a couple of people in a bedroom producing computer games. That sort of died off in around the 1990s when Sega and Nintendo were the big names, if you like, when the Mega Drive and the SNES were the things to have. And indie gaming, it only really continued on the PC. However, recently it's had a real shot in the arm thanks to the likes of Microsoft and Sony, who have provided software for people at home to produce their own computer games. The results are things such as Braid. Braid is an absolutely beautiful game in every conceivable respect. It's still by the standards of, yes, computer games that are produced by massive companies and have millions of dollars funneled into their production. Yes, obviously, it's very basic. But the elements that have gone into it are so comprehensive and so beautifully handled that it can be appreciated for what it is, and that is a stunning independent game. And yes, it does surpass, in general overall quality, yes, it does surpass a great many computer games out there that are franchise produced. For example, if you compared Braid to many of the movie licenses that come out at the moment, they don't compare in terms of quality. Yeah, they may have three-dimensional graphics and whatnot, and reasonable physics, etc., etc., but they're largely shit. Their quality is very bad. Whereas games like Braid are just overall, their overall quality is so incredibly beautiful. And I'm hoping to see more of that. There seems to be a general encouragement from the really big names in the market, like Microsoft and Sony, for independent games to be produced at the moment, and I'm hoping to see that trend continue. Number 12, if a 12-year-old boy, number 11 rather, if a 12-year-old boy is playing Halo or Gears of War over Skype or Xbox Live, and you kill him in a fair and skillful way, what are the chances that he will insult you within the next 3 seconds and claim that you cheat, resulting in you being banned, kicked from the game? I'd say that's pretty much a cert, from what I hear about the online community on many of the mainstream Xbox games.